Third graders, we're going to go super fast into our vocabulary. We'll do a quick review of our last time's reading of The Wind and the Willow, and then we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? So our very first word I want us to go over is the word deafening. Have you ever heard deafening before? No. What kind of word do you see inside of deafening? Right? You see deaf inside there, and if something is deaf or someone is deaf, it can't hear. So deafening just means it's extremely loud. If something is deafening, it's like, oh my gosh, that's so loud, I'm no longer going to be able to hear. Something is deafening, it's very, very loud. You need, right, I've already said this, you need to clean up around the room. Pick it all up. And next one is going to be an expedition. Has anybody heard an expedition before? If you go on an expedition, it's a journey, but you have a particular purpose for it. You're set out to do something. What type of an expedition might Mole and Toad and his friends all go on today? Zoe, what might they do?
I think they are going to try them Toad's house.
They're working on Toad Hall, aren't they? Would that be a good expedition? Would that be a journey for a specific purpose? Mm-hmm. We would think so. Our next word is the word immense. Immense just means it's tremendous or great or very, very large. You can have immense feelings towards something. Something else can be very immense. You could be talking about the size of something being great or large or like those feelings. Right? Or you still have a bag and headphones sitting on the ground that need picked up immediately. Our next word is the word modest. If someone is being modest, they are not going to be very boastful about themselves. There might be really good, really awesome things about that person or that character, but they're not going to brag about it. Who is not modest in our book? Griffin. Who is not modest? What?
No.
No, think of not modest. So if modest means humble and not boastful, who is not modest? Toad. Toad's not modest, is he? He made up an entire song to talk about how amazing he is. He's another word. He's conceited, right? He's a very conceited character. Now, Mole, is Mole a pretty modest character?
Yes.
Yep, he does some great things, but does he really amp himself up to be amazing?
No.
No. Do we have any other characters that might be modest, more humble, and not boastful? Viola? Rat could be. Good. Who else, Joey? Badger, I could say all of them are pretty modest. Good. And the last one we're going to go talk about today goes with one from yesterday, and it's the word sentinels. And sentinels is another, just a form of sentries. And remember yesterday we talked about sentries for people who stood guard and they watched out. So sentinels is going to be that another form of that as well. So people who are standing watch. So it's going to be a little bit different from those sentries we saw yesterday. Today it'll be called sentinels. So just new word for the same basic idea. Okay, let's review what we read yesterday. How do Rat and Badger react to Toad's return? How do they react when Toad returns? Cooper.
A little bit like upset the first time, but then like once he changed and he comes back down, then they're kind of like excited to see him.
Good. So they're not super great about it, right? Like Badger just storms past him. But do they calm down a bit? Yep. Ray, what else could we add to that?
Like when Rat pulled him out of the hole, he was kind of like, oh, it's my fault. And like when they sat at the table and told Rat about his thing, he was like, you did what? He was kind of angry.
Yeah, so Rat gets a little angry at him for the things he's done, right? Like, you put yourself in all of this danger. And he goes through the list of things that that Toad had told him about. And he's like, why would you do that? Because we know that Toad is, what is our theme? What theme does he kind of fall under? He's
irresponsible.
He is an irresponsible character, right? And throughout yesterday's reading, and we talked about the word already today, he's a very conceited character. Has Toad stopped being irresponsible and conceited after all of that?
Yes. No.
Yes and no. He maybe seems to, but do we know for sure if he's stopped?
No.
Who did he say was responsible for making his decisions from now on? Yep, he tells Rat that he's going to make his decisions from now on. Very good. Today we are going to be reading The Wind and the Willows. And this is, I want us to predict, make a prediction quick. I want us to predict whether or not Toad is going to be able to take back Toad Hall. Will he be able to reclaim Toad Hall? Thumbs up if he's going to get Toad Hall. Thumbs down if no or not yet. 1, 2. Most of you think he's going to get it. Chloe or Zoe's like, maybe. Does anyone think absolutely not? There's no way he's getting Toad Hall. Some of you think there's no way he can get it?
No.
Interesting. Let's go ahead and read today to find out if he is able to reclaim Toad Hall.